Hey guys, tonight we begin with something grand, brutal, and deeply uncomfortable. We're stepping into the mighty world of ancient Rome. Not the shiny marble fantasy from movies. Not the heroic empire of polished armor, golden eagles, and dramatic speeches under perfect sunlight. No. We're talking about the real Rome. The Rome of sweat, sewage, disease, slavery, street violence, rotten food, political backstabbing, and public entertainment that could end with someone being eaten by a lion. So, before you get too comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from, and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's travel back to the empire that ruled the world. Congratulations! You've just woken up in ancient Rome. The good news, you live in the greatest city on earth. The bad news, it smells like the inside of a public toilet after a festival. You open your eyes inside a cramped apartment block called an insula. It's not charming. It's not cozy. It's a vertical death trap made of cheap brick, bad timber, and landlord optimism. The walls are thin, the stairs are steep, and the whole building looks like it was designed by someone who hated poor people and gravity. You're on the 5th floor, because of course you are. The rich live closer to the ground. The poor climb toward disaster. Your room is tiny. No kitchen. No private bathroom. No running water. Just a straw mattress, a few cracked pots, a smoky oil lamp, and the deep spiritual knowledge that if the building catches fire tonight, you are not making it down those stairs. Outside, Rome is waking up. Carts rumble over stone streets. Vendors shout. Dogs bark. Babies cry. Somewhere nearby, a man is already arguing with a neighbor about stolen sandals. The city does not ease into the morning. It attacks it. You sit up and immediately regret being alive. Your body aches from sleeping on straw. Your tunic smells like yesterday, last week, and possibly a dead goat. Your stomach growls, not with hunger exactly, but with fear. Food in Rome is always a negotiation between survival and poisoning. And then comes the smell. Ancient Rome is famous for its roads, aqueducts, temples, and military discipline. Less famous is the fact that the streets are basically a stew of horse dung, rotten vegetables, urine, sweat, smoke, fish guts, and whatever someone threw out the window last night. Which may have included human waste. Because yes, people absolutely did that. Welcome to the capital of civilization. Try not to step in it. You stumble downstairs into the street, where Rome is already boiling with noise. The city is massive, crowded, and completely allergic to personal space. People press past you from every direction. Merchants, beggars, soldiers, slaves, priests, prostitutes, philosophers, thieves, and men carrying baskets of live chickens that seem personally offended by existence. Everyone is moving. Everyone is shouting. Everyone smells. You need breakfast. Modern breakfast is coffee, toast, maybe something sweet. Roman breakfast is whatever you can afford before your digestive system files a formal complaint. If you're poor, that means bread. Hard bread. Dense bread. Bread that looks like it was baked during a war and lost. Maybe you dip it in cheap wine watered down enough to offend both grapes and gods. Maybe you get a few olives. Maybe some cheese if fortune smiles on you, which it usually doesn't. There is no cappuccino. No buttered croissant. No peaceful cafe music. Just a street vendor handing you a suspiciously warm sausage while flies orbit it like tiny priests performing last rites. You eat it anyway. Because hunger is stronger than judgment. And speaking of judgment, you now need the bathroom. Bad news. There is no private toilet. If you're lucky, your building has a shared latrine nearby. If not, congratulations, you get a chamber pot. And when it's full, you either pay someone to collect it or throw it into the street like a civilized Roman citizen. Public toilets do exist, and they are social in the worst possible way. Imagine a stone bench with holes carved into it. Now imagine sitting shoulder to shoulder with strangers while everyone does their business together in one long, echoing chamber of shame. There are no stalls. No locks. No dignity. Just you, a senator's clerk, a sweaty baker, and an old man named Marcus discussing grain prices while nature takes its course. And toilet paper? Absolutely not. Romans use a sponge on a stick. A shared sponge on a stick. Let that settle in. The sponge sits in a bucket of vinegar or salt water, which everyone pretends makes it fine. It does not make it fine. It makes it Roman. You use it because everyone uses it. Then you wash your hands in water that has seen things no water should see. Now that your dignity has left the empire, it's time to go to work. If you're poor, your job is whatever keeps you alive until sunset. You might haul stone, bake bread, sell vegetables, clean rich people's houses, carry water, unload ships, or scrape filth from public spaces. Rome runs on labor, and labor runs on exhaustion. If you're enslaved, your day is worse. Much worse. Rome is built on slavery. The roads, baths, villas, farms, mines, kitchens, and temples all depend on human beings treated as property. Some enslaved people work as tutors or scribes. Others work in fields, kitchens, brothels, or mines where life expectancy drops faster than a politician's loyalty. There is no human resources department. There is no sick leave. There is only obedience, punishment, and the hope that your owner is not in a creative mood. If you're a free laborer, don't get too proud. You're still poor, replaceable, and one bad illness away from begging near a temple. Rome is glorious from a distance. Up close, it is a machine. And the machine eats people. By midday, the heat rises from the stone streets. The air grows thick with smoke from cooking fires, workshop furnaces, and thousands of oil lamps. There is no clean breeze. Just hot wind carrying the aroma of fish sauce, public urine, and ambition. You're thirsty. Good news, Rome has aqueducts. Bad news, not everyone gets fresh water delivered neatly into their home. The rich have private access. The poor use public fountains. You wait in line with jars while people elbow each other like hydration is a military campaign. The water is better than many ancient cities, but still not exactly spa quality. Pipes may contain lead. Storage jars may be filthy. The fountain may be surrounded by animals doing things animals do. You drink anyway. Because dehydration is also bad. Now maybe, just maybe, you get to visit the baths. Roman baths are one of the empire's great achievements: heated rooms, cold pools, exercise areas, gossip, business deals, and social climbing disguised as hygiene. Sounds relaxing. Until you remember thousands of bodies use the same water. Sweaty bodies. Oily bodies. Diseased bodies. Bodies that have been working all day in streets full of sewage, dust, and animal waste. There is no chlorine. No modern filtration. Just warm communal soup with ambition. You scrape oil and dirt from your skin using a metal tool called a strigil. It's like exfoliation, but with more bacteria and fewer spa candles. Still, by Roman standards, you're clean. Which is to say, temporarily less alarming. In the afternoon, you might hear a roar from the amphitheater. Entertainment in Rome is not gentle. Modern people watch films, sports, and online videos. Romans watch men stab each other in sand. Gladiator games are public spectacle, political theater, and mass distraction all rolled into one bloody afternoon. The crowd gathers by the thousands. Vendors sell snacks. Children watch. Rich citizens place bets. Politicians smile because nothing says leadership like sponsoring a day of organized death. A gladiator steps into the arena. He may be enslaved. He may be a prisoner. He may be a trained fighter chasing fame. Either way, his body is now entertainment. The crowd decides whether he is brave enough to live. Imagine your local sports match, except the loser might be finished off while people chew dates and cheer. And that's not even the worst part. Sometimes animals are brought in. Lions, bears, leopards, bulls, elephants. Creatures dragged from distant lands just to prove that Rome can turn the entire world into a stage prop. Executions happen too. Criminals are burned, mauled, crucified, or forced into mythological reenactments that end exactly as badly as you think. Rome does not hide violence. It sells tickets. By evening, you're hungry again. Dinner depends entirely on your social class. If you're wealthy, congratulations. You recline at a banquet surrounded by servants, silver dishes, imported wine, roasted meats, oysters, sauces, fruit, honey cakes, and enough arrogance to season the whole room. If you're poor, dinner is more bread. Maybe porridge. Maybe beans. Maybe cabbage. Maybe a little fish sauce called garum, which smells like someone buried the sea in a warm jar and apologized to no one. You eat in a tavern if you can afford it. These places are loud, smoky, crowded, and often dangerous. Gambling, drinking, arguments, and knives all appear with impressive punctuality. The wine is cheap. The food is questionable. The company may rob you. Still, it's better than eating alone in your collapsing apartment while listening to rats hold a council meeting in the wall. Night falls. This is where Rome gets truly exciting, by which I mean dangerous. There is no reliable street lighting. No police patrol in the modern sense. No emergency number. Once darkness settles, the city transforms into a maze of shadows, drunken men, thieves, stray dogs, and people with grudges. If you go out at night, you carry a lamp. If you are rich, you bring slaves with torches. If you are poor, you bring hope. Hope is not enough. You could be robbed, beaten, or mistaken for someone else and stabbed for reasons that will never be properly explained. Even staying home has risks. Your apartment building might collapse. Or burn. Fire is a constant threat in Rome. People cook indoors. Lamps tip over. Buildings are packed tightly together. Wood beams catch quickly. Streets are narrow. Panic spreads faster than flames. If a fire starts below you, remember, you live on the 5th floor. Good luck. And if you survive the fire, disease is waiting patiently. Ancient Rome has physicians, but medicine is a gamble wrapped in confidence. Doctors talk about humors, balance, diet, and divine influence. Some are skilled. Some are butchers with vocabulary. Got a fever? Maybe you need herbs. Maybe bloodletting. Maybe prayer. Maybe someone tells you to avoid cold baths and eat boiled lettuce. There are no antibiotics. No vaccines for most diseases. No germ theory. Infection from a small cut can become a death sentence. Childbirth is dangerous. Infant mortality is heartbreaking. Plagues sweep through the empire like invisible armies. Rome conquers nations. It cannot conquer bacteria. And then there is politics. If you think modern politics is messy, ancient Rome is a knife fight wearing a toga. Power is unstable. Alliances shift. Senators plot. Generals become celebrities. Emperors fear conspiracies. Families marry for influence, betray for survival, and poison with the calm professionalism of experienced dinner hosts. Say the wrong thing about the wrong man and your future may become very short. One emperor might build baths. Another might execute half the court. Another might declare himself a god and make everyone pretend that is normal. If you are an ordinary person, imperial madness arrives as taxes, soldiers, shortages, or public mourning for someone you never met. If you are close to power, congratulations. You are closer to death. Even religion is everywhere. The gods watch from temples, household shrines, public festivals, and imperial ceremonies. Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Minerva, Vesta, countless spirits, ancestors, and local deities all demand attention. You make offerings not necessarily because you are deeply spiritual, but because annoying the gods feels like poor planning. A bad harvest? The gods are angry. A plague? The gods are angry. Lightning strikes a statue? The gods are absolutely making a point. Later, Christianity begins spreading through the empire, quietly at first, then more boldly. Some Romans see it as strange. Others see it as dangerous. Eventually, it will reshape the entire Roman world. But for now, you're just trying to survive until morning. So how was your day? You woke up in a crumbling apartment, ate weaponized bread, used a public toilet with a communal sponge, worked until your bones complained, bathed in human broth, watched state-sponsored violence, drank suspicious wine, avoided thieves, feared fire, and prayed your emperor didn't wake up feeling dramatic. Welcome to ancient Rome. Still want to live there? Yes, Rome gave the world roads, law, engineering, architecture, literature, military organization, and political ideas that echo even today. But it also gave its people smoke-filled rooms, deadly streets, brutal inequality, terrifying medicine, public cruelty, and a daily life where comfort was rare unless you were rich enough to buy someone else's suffering. The empire was magnificent. It was also merciless. And yet, like all humans everywhere, Romans laughed. They loved. They gossiped. They celebrated weddings, mourned their dead, sang songs, told jokes, painted walls, carved names into stone, and complained about prices. They were not just statues in museums. They were people. Messy, ambitious, cruel, brilliant, frightened, funny, and alive. So tonight, when you turn off the lights, lock your door, drink clean water, use a private bathroom, and sleep in a building that probably won't collapse before sunrise, maybe whisper a quiet thank you. Because the Roman Empire may have ruled the world. But you, my friend, have indoor plumbing. And that is civilization.